Welcome to Beyond Just Money, and we are in conversation with our guest speaker for today, Ms. 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞 Chaudhary, who is the Director of Research with 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐴 Pty Limited. The oil producer group OPEC Plus concluded a meeting over oil production level in coming months on 5th of January 2021. The resurgence of new strains of COVID-19 virus in different parts of the world is spooking oil producers. In a recent development, the United Kingdom went under Phase 3 lockdown. Hi 𝐊𝐚𝐴, wish you a very happy new year. 𝐊𝐴, it seems that Saudi Arabia has unilaterally decided to cut production up to 1 million barrels per day to support crude oil prices and have also approved some new mining investment laws.
Well, Samta, Happy New Year to you too. And you have perfectly, quoted it well. That OPEC Plus has taken certain decisions around the production of oil, and to ease the pressure on crude oil prices, OPEC Plus has categorically decided to keep the production rate flat. The 13-member oil cartel has cut the production by 10 million barrels per day since the beginning of the pandemic, and now as we see the cases of COVID infection rising, lockdowns and then restrictions coming along in many countries, along with other geopolitical and other growing uncertainties over economic recovery, I think these factors are going to drive the demand for oil in the downward trajectory to an extent. But in order to boost the oil prices amidst these kind of uncertainties, Saudi Arabia has taken a unilateral decision to cut its share of production by 1 million barrels per day in coming months. Now, if we also look at what other initiatives or what other efforts they have been, come up with, we have this new mining investment law. So as part of Saudi Arabia's vision to diversify its economy and reduce its dependence on crude oil by 2030, the Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources has approved new mining investment law. And this will, kind of reinforce sustainable growth in the mining sector, improve the investment capacities for the next phase of mining activities in the kingdom. So if you look at Vision 2030 goals, the aim is to get private sector's contribution to 65% of GDP, foreign direct investment to 5.7% of GDP, and non-oil government revenue growth to SAR 1 trillion. Now, I feel that these kind of changes, the new mining law and other things coming along, these will bolster confidence among the investors, and they will also in fact increase the transparency in the system. So in addition to the new law, we also see that the basic changes that are going to happen, it will also simplify the role and responsibilities of investors while improving the ease of doing business, providing digital channels for obtaining new exploration licenses to the miners. So all in all, I think it's a welcome move. The only thing is that volatility has always played a big role, and we have to look at all these things as well when we are talking about oil prices.
Right, 𝐊𝐚𝐴. 𝐊𝐴, it also seems that the growing cases of new coronavirus strains in different parts of the world are rising concern among oil producers.
So absolutely, because we have seen that COVID has any which way played a havoc on different sectors, and because travel segment was impacted, your oil segment got an impact eventually. Now, if we look at how Brent crude jumped nearly 5% lately and crossed the $53 mark, we are seeing that some positive news or positive sentiment has prevailed. And if you look at the USA, WTI crossed the level of $50 mark now in response to this production cut news. So I think there is a positivity coming in, but though if you look at distress which is coming in from the strains related issue or mutants coming in for coronavirus, I think that's where we have to see how well we can mitigate the challenges and how we can look from the healthcare side of things, that what improvements are required in technology, healthcare segment or vaccines, which we are right now talking about, how they can help us tackle the issues which are coming up, or the concerns which are coming up because of this new coronavirus strains. Now, if you still go back to the oil price scenario, we have seen that this is the first time since February 2020 that the oil price surpassed the $50 US dollar mark. So I think there is a positive sentiment, but we have to really be mindful or watchful of the developments which are coming along.
Right, Hina. And Hina, like before we conclude this podcast, could you elaborate on the news regarding Russia and Kazakhstan? It was said that they would increase the production share by a total of 75,000 barrels per day.
Sure, Samta. Now, Russia has been giving signals that it wanted to increase its crude oil production for a few months, and the indication seems to be in the wake of losing its market share. Meanwhile, we have also seen that United States is pushing its shale oil to new territories and markets. So we are seeing a very different kind of a scenario when we talk about different players coming in with regards to oil production. Now, the meeting which was held on 5th January 2021, an agreement has been reached wherein production will be kept almost flat, and a modest addition of 75,000 barrels per day of oil in current production levels by Russia and Kazakhstan has been indicated. OPEC Plus has been able to add 2.5 million barrels per day of crude oil so far after it imposed production cuts at the beginning of the pandemic. So we see that things are changing in a different way. Production cut decision by Saudi Arabia, as we have been talking about, is also being seen as losing its influence in the 13-member organization and growing stature of Russia. So I think there are different things which we have to keep in mind, that certain regions are okay with the production cut, certain regions are relooking at strategies how they can bring up the supply demand scenario in a better way. So if I talk about Iraq, Nigeria and other group members, they have also asked for concessions and production cuts due to their dwindling economies, but most of them have been rejected over a period of time. So as we know, the next OPEC meeting, which is scheduled in February 2021, I think many things would become more clear, and the decision for production levels for April and coming months would also, come into picture. We'll be more clear at that time probably.
Sure, Hina. And on that note, thank you, Hina, for sharing your insights with us. And like you mentioned, it will be interesting to see what happens in the next meeting of OPEC Plus in February this year. Well, that will be all for now. To listen to this podcast again, log on to the 𝐾𝐴LKINDmedia.com or on our YouTube channel. See you soon with yet another insightful episode with yet another guest speaker. Till then, as we say, stay apprised and invest wise with 𝐾𝐴LKIND, your best guide.